You know that God knew what you were going to do before you were ever born? He knew every sin you'd commit before you were even here. It says he knows the hair on our head, right? He knew us in the womb. David talks about in that same Psalms 51 how I was birthed in iniquity. That doesn't mean his mother committed sin to have him. That means that he was born how? Sinful, like you and I. And our natural nature, is to not be forgiving. Our nature is to say, well, I'll forgive you if. You know, if you at least be nice to me. If you at least apologize. If you at least come to me and give me a gift of some sort, right? We have many different variations of this thing. And it got so extreme in the Dark Ages that they had indulgences, it was called. The whole concept of that is simply some gift that's brought to earn some time off of torture or off of purgatory or off of, in trouble time, and to get in. That's what it was. And the poor people, the peasants, the commoners, they would spend until there was past spending to try to get some peace with God. Struggled in their hearts. How will I, as my friend? This isn't 2,000 years ago or 1,800 years ago or even 400 years ago. This is my friend sitting in this couch across from me in his chair and saying, I have to do something to earn my forgiveness. So I looked at him and I said, I'm so sorry we've lied to you all this time. That is not how it works. God loves you and he forgives you before you ever realized you were doing something wrong. That's why he got off his throne. To come down here and say to us, I love you, I forgive you, I'm not holding it against you. In fact, you can test me on this. Check it in Romans. You'll find that Paul talks about in the past, sins from the past, God did what with them? No, not the deepest part verse. Not wiped them away yet. There's another word in Romans. He overlooked. The actual word is he passed over them, like Passover. That's the actual wording used there. He overlooked them. He didn't hold it against us. You'll find David talking about, blessed is the man whose sins are not, here's a fancy word for you, you ready? Imputed. Or in the King James, imputeth. Imputed against him. That means held against him. Yes, we were enemies of God. When Christ came, that got proven. He came to his own, and his own not only knew him not, they didn't even like him. Rejected him. Calling him a heretic, calling him demon-possessed, the devil himself. Put him on a cross, beat him, whip him, spit on him. That's how we responded to this love. That's our nature. That's what we're born with. And God said, but I loved you so much, I didn't hold it against you. I came to you that you might see. Remember, if you've seen me, you've seen. So we could behold that goodness, and our hearts might be cracked open like Peter, who said, Lord, I see that you're very forgiving. If I forgive 7 times, that's pretty good, right? I mean, the Jewish concept was 3 or 5. I read both, so I'm not exactly sure which one it was, but it was less than 7. And Peter's overdoing that. He's going to say, well, I'm going to go for a bigger number, Lord. That's really the limit, don't you think? I mean, that's good enough. And Jesus' answer was, if you put a limit on forgiveness, you don't know or understand the Spirit of God. There is no limit to his forgiveness. There is no limit to his mercy, to his grace. There is a limit, however. That limit is how long will it take for us to reject him enough that we will never turn and submit. Submit to what, you say? And I've been repeating this. I'm going to keep using this because it's sort of relative to us. Submit to stopping the gossip, to stopping the criticalness, the judgmentalness, which are the first steps and stages of murder. To stop the adultery, which is bowing down to any other thing that we depend on other than God.